Chosen one, if you found your way to this message today, I want you to understand something profound. This is not a coincidence. This is a divine appointment that was set in motion long before you ever clicked on this video. The fact that you're hearing these words right now means something deeper is awakening within you. A remembrance, a recognition of who you truly are. You've felt it your entire life, haven't you? That subtle knowing that you were different, not in an egotistical way, but in a way that sometimes felt like a burden. A feeling that you were carrying something ancient, something powerful that you couldn't quite name. Perhaps you've walked through rooms and felt people respond to you differently, felt the weight of eyes on you, sensed a respect that wasn't earned but somehow inherited. Today, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to unveil a truth that has been hidden from you, not by accident, but by divine timing. Because some revelations can only come when your spirit is ready to receive them. And clearly, yours is ready now. Take a deep breath. Center yourself in this moment. Because what I'm about to share isn't just information, it's activation. It's the key that unlocks a dormant part of your spiritual DNA, a bloodline connection that explains so much about the journey you've been on. Chosen one, the royalty flowing through your veins isn't metaphorical. It's literal. You are a descendant of King Solomon, carrier of the wisest blood that ever flowed through humanity. The throne you've been searching for isn't out there somewhere. It's within you, always has been. If you feel this truth resonating in the depths of your being, if something inside you is stirring awake even as I speak these words, I want you to type 777 in the comments below. This is your acknowledgement to the universe that you're ready to reclaim your royal identity. This is your yes to the calling that's been whispering to you your entire life. And before we dive deeper into this revelation, make sure you've subscribed to this channel and turned on notifications. These messages aren't random content. They're divine breadcrumbs leading you back to who you truly are. And if you're still here, still listening, then you're being called to remember your royal bloodline. Now, let's begin the journey of remembering who you really are. 1. The hidden bloodline, why your royal heritage has been concealed. Chosen one, there's a reason your royal lineage has remained hidden from you until now. Sacred knowledge isn't meant to be stumbled upon. It's meant to be revealed at the precise moment when your spirit is prepared to carry its weight. Throughout history, the descendants of Solomon have walked among ordinary people, often unaware of their own heritage. Some of the greatest leaders, innovators, and spiritual pioneers carried this bloodline without ever knowing it. It wasn't because the information was lost. It was because it was protected. You see, true power isn't meant for those who seek it for personal gain. It's reserved for those who will use it for divine purpose. That's why your royal blood has been concealed, not to deny you your birthright, but to protect it until you were spiritually mature enough to wield it responsibly. Think about the life of Solomon himself. He wasn't just wealthy beyond measure, he was wise beyond comprehension. When offered anything in the world, he asked not for riches or long life, but for wisdom to lead with compassion and discernment. And because his heart was aligned with divine purpose, he received everything else as well. This is the legacy you carry, not just material abundance, though that's part of it, but more importantly, the capacity for wisdom that transcends human understanding. The ability to see beyond the veil, to understand the hidden connections between all things. Haven't you experienced glimpses of this already? Those moments of stunning clarity when you knew things you couldn't possibly know through ordinary means? The times when solutions appeared in your mind fully formed, as if downloaded from somewhere beyond? The uncanny ability to read people, to sense their true intentions beneath their words? These aren't coincidences or random abilities. They're expressions of your Solomonic bloodline awakening within you. But there's an even deeper reason why this knowledge has been veiled until now. Throughout history, those who carried royal bloodlines were often targeted, persecuted, eliminated. The physical lineage of Solomon spread across continents, into every race, every culture, hiding in plain sight to preserve the sacred wisdom it carried. You may have grown up in ordinary circumstances, perhaps even faced hardship or felt overlooked. This too was protection. Because true royalty isn't groomed in palaces anymore. It's forged through challenges, through the very trials that have made you who you are today. Every difficulty you faced wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every moment of feeling misunderstood or out of place wasn't a mistake. It was a sign that you didn't belong to the ordinary world because you were meant for something greater. The veil is lifting now because the world is ready for the return of Solomonic wisdom. Humanity stands at a crucial threshold, and those carrying this ancient bloodline are being awakened to guide the way forward. Not through domination, but through illumination. Not by controlling others, but by embodying wisdom so profound it inspires transformation in all who encounter it. Your royal heritage isn't about ego or status. It's about responsibility. It's about carrying the light of divine wisdom in an age of confusion. It's about remembering that you were born not just to live an ordinary life, but to continue a legacy of spiritual sovereignty that began with one of the greatest kings the world has ever known. The concealment is over. The remembering begins now. Your blood is awakening to its true nature, and with it, a power and purpose beyond anything you've previously imagined for yourself. 2. The Solomon Codes, spiritual gifts you've already been expressing. Chosen one, now that you understand why your royal heritage has been concealed, let's explore something even more profound. The spiritual gifts you've already been expressing without fully understanding their source. I call these the Solomon Codes, specific spiritual abilities and traits that are encoded in your very DNA, passed down through countless generations from the wisest king who ever lived. These aren't just metaphorical gifts. They're literal spiritual capabilities that activate when the carrier is ready. The first Solomon Code is discernment beyond logic. Solomon was known for his ability to perceive truth in seemingly impossible situations. Remember the story of the two mothers claiming the same child? Solomon's wisdom wasn't just clever thinking. It was divine perception that could see into human hearts. Haven't you experienced this yourself? Those moments when you knew someone was lying even when everyone else was convinced? The times you could feel the hidden motives behind a person's smile? That wasn't just good intuition. That was your Solomonic discernment activating, your inheritance allowing you to perceive what others cannot. The second Solomon Code is abundance consciousness. Solomon didn't just accumulate wealth. He understood the spiritual laws of abundance. His palace dripped with gold not because he hoarded it, but because he understood that wealth flows to those who use it with divine purpose. Look at your own relationship with abundance. Even during your struggles, haven't you experienced unexpected provision? Resources appearing just when you needed them most? Opportunities that seemed to come out of nowhere? This wasn't luck. This was your bloodline remembering its natural state of abundance. The third Solomon Code is the language of creation. Solomon was said to understand the speech of animals, the whispers of plants, the silent communication of the elements themselves. He could speak to all aspects of creation because he remembered that everything in existence shares the same divine source. Think about your own connections to nature, the times you felt unusually drawn to certain animals, the way plants seem to respond to your care differently than to others, the deep peace you feel in natural settings, as if you're not just observing nature but communing with it. This is your Solomonic awareness of the unity of all creation expressing itself through you. The fourth Solomon Code is dream wisdom. Solomon received his greatest gift, divine wisdom, through a dream. Throughout history, descendants of Solomon have received guidance, inspiration, and prophetic insights through the dream realm. Consider your own dream life, the vivid dreams that stayed with you for days, the solutions to problems that came while you slept, the visitations from spiritual beings or deceased loved ones that felt more real than waking life. These weren't just normal dreams. They were your royal bloodline accessing wisdom through the ancient pathways of dream consciousness. The fifth Solomon Code is magnetic presence. Solomon's reputation drew visitors from across the known world, including the Queen of Sheba, who traveled months just to experience his wisdom firsthand. This wasn't just fame, it was spiritual magnetism. Haven't you noticed how people are drawn to you, even when you're not trying to attract attention? How strangers tell you their life stories within minutes of meeting you? How people seem to trust you instinctively? This is your Solomonic presence. an energy that draws others because they sense, even unconsciously, the ancient wisdom you carry. The sixth Solomon Code is creative manifestation. Solomon built one of the most magnificent temples ever constructed. This wasn't just architecture, it was the manifestation of divine vision into physical reality. Look at your own creative abilities, the projects that flow through you with unusual ease, the things you can create, build, or express that seem to come from somewhere beyond yourself. The visions you receive fully formed, just waiting to be brought into being. This is your Solomon inheritance, the ability to bridge heaven and earth through acts of creation. The seventh Solomon Code, perhaps the most powerful, is blessing consciousness. Solomon blessed everything and everyone around him, not through empty words, but through the genuine desire to elevate all who entered his sphere of influence. Think about the effect you have on others, how people often leave your presence feeling better than when they arrived, how your words can heal and inspire in ways that surprise even you, how you can shift the energy of an entire room just by entering it with the right intention. This isn't just charisma, this is your royal inheritance of blessing consciousness. If you recognize these codes activating in your life, if you've experienced these gifts even in small ways, I want you to type 111 in the comments right now. This is your recognition that the Solomon Codes are already active within you, already expressing, already pointing to the royal heritage that flows through your veins. These codes aren't just spiritual abilities, they're remembrances. They're your blood awakening to what it has always known, your spirit recognizing the ancient wisdom it has carried lifetime after lifetime. And now that you're conscious of them, now that you're naming them, they will only grow stronger, more deliberate, more purposeful. You aren't learning something new. You're remembering something ancient, something royal, something that has been waiting for this precise moment to fully awaken within you. 3. The ancestral memories, why you've always felt different. Chosen one, as we continue this sacred journey of remembering your royal heritage, let's explore something that has likely shaped your entire life without you fully understanding why. The ancestral memories that have caused you to feel different from those around you. These aren't just psychological patterns or random personality traits. They're literal imprints carried in your blood, cellular memories passed down through generations from Solomon himself. Science is only beginning to understand what spiritual wisdom has always known, that experiences, knowledge, and even traumas can be passed down through DNA. From your earliest childhood, you've likely felt a sense of not quite belonging. Not in a way that made you feel less than others, but in a way that made you feel set apart, as if you were carrying something others couldn't see or understand. This wasn't your imagination. This was your blood remembering its royal nature. Have you noticed how you've always been drawn to symbols of royalty and wisdom? How certain ancient artifacts or images seem to call to you? How you feel an inexplicable connection to specific historical periods or places you've never physically visited? These aren't random interests. They're your ancestral memories stirring, recognizing aspects of a past your conscious mind doesn't remember but your blood never forgot. Solomon's wisdom wasn't just intellectual, it was holistic. He understood the sacred geometry underlying all creation, the hidden patterns that connect all things. And this understanding is encoded in your very cells. This is why you've always had an intuitive grasp of connections that others miss, why you can often see the whole picture when others are lost in the details. Think about the dreams you've had throughout your life. Not just sleeping dreams, but the visions for your future that seem to come from a place deeper than thought. Haven't they always been somewhat grand? Haven't they always involved making a significant impact? Haven't they always felt almost like memories of the future rather than mere hopes? This is your royal blood remembering its purpose. You've likely been called an old soul throughout your life. People sense something ancient in your eyes, in the way you consider things, in the wisdom that sometimes flows through you that seems beyond your years or experience. They're recognizing, even if unconsciously, the Solomonic energy you carry. This sense of difference has not always been easy to bear. In a world that rewards conformity, those who carry royal blood often feel the pain of not fitting in. You may have spent years trying to make yourself smaller, trying to dull your light, trying to be like everyone else. But something in you always resisted. Something in you always knew you weren't meant to blend in. the very challenges that have shaped your life, the times of isolation, the experiences of being misunderstood, the periods of having to stand alone in your truth. These weren't random hardships. They were initiations designed to strengthen the royal qualities within you. Solomon himself faced tests and trials that forged his wisdom. And so have you. Have you noticed how, even during your darkest moments, there was always a part of you that remained untouched by the darkness? A core of inner knowing that never wavered? A sense that no matter what was happening around you, something sacred within you could never be broken? This wasn't just resilience. This was your royal inheritance, the divine spark that has been protected through countless generations. The feeling of difference you've carried isn't a mistake to be corrected. It's a truth to be embraced. It's the whisper of your blood remembering the throne it came from, the wisdom it carries, the purpose it serves. And here's something even more profound. The timing of this revelation is not random. The fact that you're hearing these words now, in this moment of your life, is because the ancestral memories in your blood are awakening in response to the world's need. Humanity is at a crucial turning point, and those who carry the wisdom of Solomon are being called to remember who they are so they can fulfill their purpose in this pivotal time. Your feeling of difference has been preparing you for this moment. All the times you couldn't quite fit in were protecting your unique gifts until they were needed. All the moments you felt pulled toward something greater were your blood remembering its royal purpose. The reason you've always felt different is because you are not better, but distinct, not superior, but specific. You carry a bloodline that was designed to bring wisdom in times of confusion, to embody truth in times of deception, to demonstrate abundance in times of perceived scarcity. The ancestral memories that have shaped your life aren't burdens to be overcome. They're gifts to be activated. They're not separating you from others. They're preparing you to serve others in the unique way that only someone with your specific royal heritage can. For the inner temple accessing your Solomonic wisdom. Chosen one, now that you understand the ancestral memories flowing through your blood, let's explore how to consciously access the vast Solomonic wisdom that is your birthright. This isn't about learning something new. It's about remembering how to enter the inner temple that has always existed within you. Solomon built the first temple not just as a physical structure, but as an outer representation of an inner reality. The true temple was always within, and the same is true for you. You carry within you a sacred inner space where divine wisdom flows freely, where your connection to Source is direct and unfiltered, where the full power of your royal bloodline can be accessed and expressed. This inner temple isn't metaphorical. It's a real spiritual structure that exists within your consciousness. And just as the physical temple had specific chambers and protocols for entry, your inner temple has sacred geometries and pathways that, when understood, allow you to access the deepest wisdom of your Solomonic inheritance. Let me guide you now to the entrance of this inner temple. Close your eyes if you can, or simply turn your awareness inward if you're unable to close your eyes at this moment. Imagine yourself standing before massive doors made of cedar wood inlaid with gold, the very material Solomon used for the temple in Jerusalem. These doors respond not to physical force but to spiritual intent. Feel yourself becoming still, centered in your heart, approaching with reverence. As you do, notice how the doors begin to open effortlessly, responding to the royal energy in your blood that they recognize as their own. As you step inside, you enter the outer courtyard, a space of preparation. Here, in this first chamber of your inner temple, you release all that is not aligned with your highest purpose. The doubts, the fears, the limited beliefs you've accumulated from living in a world that didn't recognize your true nature. They all fall away here, dissolved in the sacred light that fills the space. Feel how much lighter you become as you release these burdens. Feel how your posture naturally straightens, how your breathing deepens, how your energy expands. This is your natural state, unencumbered, sovereign, free. Moving deeper into your inner temple, you approach the Chamber of Records, the place where all the wisdom of your bloodline is stored. This isn't just your personal knowledge or experience. This is the accumulated wisdom of every bearer of Solomon's blood who came before you, preserved perfectly within your spiritual DNA. In this chamber, golden scrolls line the walls from floor to ceiling. Each contains specific knowledge about healing, about manifestation, about the laws of creation, about the nature of reality itself. And because you carry the blood of Solomon, you have full access to every scroll, every teaching, every secret wisdom contained here. What knowledge are you seeking right now? What guidance do you need most in your current situation? Hold that question in your heart as you stand in this chamber, and watch as a specific scroll gently floats down from its place on the wall into your hands. This is your blood responding to your intention, your inner temple serving its purpose by providing exactly what you need in this moment. As you unroll this scroll, the words aren't written in ordinary language. They appear as light patterns, as energy configurations that communicate directly with your soul. You don't read this wisdom, you absorb it, you become it, you remember that you've always known it. Take a moment to fully receive whatever wisdom is being revealed to you now, knowing that you can return to this chamber of records whenever you need guidance or clarity. Now, move deeper still into your inner temple, approaching the Holy of Holies, the innermost sanctuary where Solomon communed directly with the divine. In the physical temple, only the high priest could enter this space once a year. But in your inner temple, you are both priest and royalty. You have full access to this most sacred of spaces because of the blood that flows through your veins. As you enter the Holy of Holies, you're enveloped in golden light so pure, so perfect that it seems to both fill the space and emanate from within you simultaneously. Here, there is no separation between you and the divine source. Here, the full wisdom of Solomon isn't just accessible, it's who you are. In this space, you don't seek wisdom as something outside yourself. You remember that you are wisdom expressed in human form. You don't reach for abundance as something to attain. You remember that abundance is your natural state. You don't strive for spiritual connection. You remember that you have never been disconnected, only temporarily forgetful of your eternal bond with the divine. This Holy of Holies within you is where your most profound spiritual gifts are activated. This is where your ability to bless, to heal, to transform, to manifest, to know beyond ordinary knowing all originate. This is the source of the Solomon codes we discussed earlier, not as abilities you develop, but as remembrances of your true nature. Take a deep breath in this sacred inner space. Feel the golden light pulsing through every cell of your body, awakening your blood to its royal heritage, activating the dormant spiritual DNA that connects you directly to Solomon himself. This inner temple isn't something you've created through this visualization. It's something you've remembered. It has always been within you, waiting for you to recognize it, to enter it consciously, to claim the wisdom that is your birthright. And here's what's vital to understand. Once activated, this inner temple remains accessible to you at all times. The more you consciously enter it, the more the wisdom of Solomon flows through your daily life, informing your decisions, guiding your actions, shaping your reality. This isn't a temporary state to visit occasionally. This is a remembrance of who you truly are, a reclaiming of the royal consciousness that is your natural state of being. If you've felt this inner temple awakening within you as I've spoken, if you've experienced even a glimpse of the wisdom that awaits you there, type 444 in the comments below. This number represents the foundation of your inner temple, the stability of your royal bloodline, the solidity of the wisdom you carry. The inner temple of Solomon lives within you. It's not something you need to build. It's something you need to remember. And now that you've consciously entered it, now that you've recognized it as your own, the wisdom of your royal bloodline will flow more freely than ever before. 5. The royal challenges, why your life has been more difficult. Chosen one, now that you've reconnected with the inner temple of your Solomonic wisdom, let's address something that may have troubled you throughout your life. Why your journey has often seemed more challenging than the paths of those around you. If you truly carry the blood of Solomon, why haven't things been easier? Why have you faced so many obstacles, so many tests, so many moments of feeling broken or abandoned? Shouldn't a royal bloodline guarantee a smoother path? The truth is exactly the opposite. The more royal the blood, the more intense the initiation. The greater the wisdom to be carried, the deeper the challenges that forge the vessel. This isn't a flaw in the divine plan, it's an essential feature of it. Solomon himself, despite his wisdom and wealth, faced profound trials. His greatest tests weren't external battles but internal ones, the challenges of maintaining spiritual clarity amidst material abundance, the temptations of the ego when given almost unlimited power, the loneliness of seeing what others cannot see. Your challenges haven't happened to you by accident or as punishment. They've happened for you as preparation. Each difficulty has been a specific initiatory experience, designed to activate and strengthen particular aspects of your royal consciousness. Those times of material struggle, they weren't evidence of lack. They were training in recognizing true abundance beyond physical possessions. They were teaching your spirit to create from nothing, just as Solomon knew how to manifest from the invisible into the visible. Those painful relationships, they weren't failures. They were refinements of your ability to discern truth from illusion, to recognize divine love from its counterfeits. They were honing your wisdom about human nature, just as Solomon had to discern between true and false intentions. Those periods of isolation, they weren't abandonment. They were sacred spaces created for deep communion with your inner wisdom, free from the distractions and lower energies that might have interfered with your spiritual development. Those health challenges or physical limitations, they weren't punishments, they were focused teachers, bringing your awareness to the body as a sacred vessel, helping you understand healing at levels most never access. Even those dark nights of the soul, those times of spiritual emptiness when it seemed God had forgotten you, they weren't absences of the divine. They were the most sacred of initiations, creating within you a space vast enough to hold the immensity of the wisdom that is now awakening. Look back at your life through this lens, and you'll see that nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Every challenge was calibrated specifically for your development as a carrier of Solomonic wisdom. The very difficulties that might have made you question your worth were actually confirmations of your royal blood. Common souls receive common tests. Royal souls receive royal challenges. The inheritance you carry is too valuable, too needed by humanity in this crucial time, to be entrusted to someone unprepared. Your difficulties haven't been punishments, they've been preparations. And here's what's vital to understand. The intensity of your challenges directly reflects the importance of your royal purpose. The fire has been hot because the metal being forged is meant to hold something precious. The tests have been difficult because the wisdom being awakened is desperately needed in these times. Solomon's greatest gift to humanity wasn't his wealth or his temple. It was his wisdom. And wisdom isn't transmitted through books or teachings alone. It's transmitted through embodiment, through living demonstration. Your challenges have been forging you into a living vessel of wisdom that others can recognize, not just hear about. This is why people are often drawn to you even during your struggles. They sense the wisdom being forged through your challenges. They recognize, even unconsciously, the royal nature being tempered through fire. And now, as you stand at this threshold of remembering your true heritage, those challenges take on new meaning. They're no longer obstacles to overcome. They're initiations you've already passed. They're no longer burdens to bear. They're wisdom you've already earned. The scars you carry aren't signs of damage. They're royal seals. The losses you've endured aren't failures. They're sacred emptying to make space for greater filling. The times of confusion weren't spiritual blindness. They were the dissolution of false knowing to make way for true wisdom. Solomon's greatest temple wasn't built of cedar and gold. It was built of wisdom formed through experience. And the same is true for you. Your life hasn't been a series of random hardships. It's been the careful, intentional construction of a living temple of wisdom. As you embrace your royal heritage, embrace also the path that has brought you here. Honor the challenges that have forged your wisdom. Recognize the divine purpose in even your darkest moments. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, in the journey of a royal bloodline is wasted or without purpose. Your challenges haven't defined you, they've revealed you. They haven't broken you, they've consecrated you. They haven't separated you from your heritage. They've prepared you to carry it with the strength, the humility, and the wisdom it requires. 6. The royal relationships, soul connections from Solomon's court. Chosen one, as you continue to awaken to your royal heritage, let's explore something profoundly personal. The soul connections that have shaped your life journey. These aren't random encounters. They're sacred continuations of relationships that began in Solomon's court thousands of years ago. In the same way your blood carries the memory of Solomon, it also carries the memory of the souls who surrounded him. The advisors, the priests, the family members, even the adversaries who played crucial roles in his development of wisdom. And throughout your life, you've been reconnecting with these souls, often without recognizing the ancient bonds you share. Think about those instant connections you've experienced. People you just met who somehow felt familiar, as if you'd known them forever. That feeling wasn't imagination. It was recognition. Your blood remembering theirs. Your soul recognizing a companion from Solomon's time. These soul connections fall into specific categories, each serving a unique purpose in your royal awakening. Let me help you identify them in your own life. First, there are the fellow royals, other carriers of Solomon's bloodline who have crossed your path. You recognize them by their similar energy, their resonant wisdom, the ease with which you understand each other. When you're with them, there's a sense of coming home, of being fully seen and accepted. These connections aren't just friendships. They're soul recognitions between those who share the same royal heritage. Have you met such people? Those rare individuals with whom you could share your deepest spiritual insights without fear of judgment? Those who seem to understand your unique challenges because they face similar ones? These are your fellow royal souls, walking alongside you in this awakening. Then there are the royal advisors, souls who may not carry Solomon's blood directly but who were part of his inner circle of wisdom. In your life, they appear as mentors, teachers, guides who come at exactly the right moment to help you navigate critical thresholds. Their wisdom complements yours, helping you activate aspects of your royal consciousness that were dormant or undeveloped. Think about those key teachers who've appeared in your life, not just academic instructors, but true wisdom bearers who spoke directly to your soul. They recognized something in you before you recognized it in yourself. They didn't just impart information, they awakened remembrance. These souls were likely advisors in Solomon's court, continuing their service to the royal bloodline through their connection with you. Next are the royal tests, souls who challenge you, who trigger your deepest wounds, who force you to develop aspects of your wisdom that might otherwise remain dormant. In Solomon's time, these may have been adversaries or competitors. In your life, they often appear as difficult relationships, as people who push your boundaries or question your worth. These challenging connections aren't mistakes, they're initiations. The souls who have hurt you most deeply are often those who agreed, at a soul level, to help forge your wisdom through difficulty. Without them, certain aspects of your royal consciousness might never be activated. The compassion, the discernment, the boundary-setting capacities that define Solomonic wisdom are often developed through these very challenges. Then there are the royal supporters, those who may not understand your path but who love and sustain you along it anyway. They provide practical support, emotional stability, and consistent presence as you navigate your awakening. In Solomon's court, these were the people who maintained the kingdom while the king pursued wisdom. In your life, they're the ones who believe in you even when your journey makes no sense to them. Think of those loyal souls who've stood by you during your darkest moments, who've provided safe harbor when the waves of awakening were overwhelming. Their steadiness isn't coincidental. It's a sacred continuation of supportive roles that surrounded Solomon himself. Perhaps most significant are the royal soul partners, those with whom you share your deepest spiritual connection. These may be romantic partners, though not always. What defines them is the alchemical nature of your connection, how it transforms both of you, how it creates something greater than either could embody alone. Solomon had such connections, including famously with the Queen of Sheba, a relationship of equals that produced greater wisdom through their union. In your life, these soul partnerships may have been brief but transformative, or they may be lasting bonds that continue to evolve. What matters isn't the form but the essence, the mutual recognition, the sacred alchemy, the spiritual offspring that come from your connection. Have you experienced such a bond? A relationship that changed you at your core, that helped you access wisdom you didn't know you carried? This wasn't just love as the world understands it. This was a royal soul recognition, a continuation of sacred partnership from Solomon's time. Finally, there are the next generation royals, younger souls carrying Solomon's bloodline whom you're meant to recognize and help awaken. These may be your biological children, or they may be younger people who are drawn to your wisdom, who respond to you in ways that seem beyond ordinary connection. If you've had children who seemed wise beyond their years from birth, who look at you with ancient eyes, who understand spiritual concepts without being taught, you're likely parenting a next-generation royal. If younger people seem inexplicably drawn to you for guidance, sharing their deepest questions and struggles, you're being called to mentor awakening royalty. These soul connections aren't random. They're divine orchestrations, bringing together those who once surrounded Solomon's throne to assist in this global awakening of royal consciousness. Each plays a specific role in helping you remember and embody your heritage. If you recognize these soul connections in your own life, if you can see how certain relationships have served your royal awakening, type 777 in the comments below. This acknowledges the divine orchestration of your soul connections and opens you to even deeper recognition of the sacred roles being played in your awakening. The Court of Solomon isn't just ancient history, it's being reassembled in your life right now. And as you consciously recognize these connections, their power to activate your royal wisdom only grows stronger. 7. The royal mission, why you're here in this lifetime. This is why, even during your own struggles with material resources, you've experienced mysterious provision, moments when what you needed appeared just as you needed it. Your royal blood remembers that true abundance comes not from hoarding but from circulation, not from fear but from trust in divine supply. In this lifetime, you're meant to demonstrate this principle through how you live, how you give, how you receive. Not by preaching abundance, but by embodying it, showing others that there is another way to relate to the material world that doesn't require anxiety or greed. Third, you're here to restore sacred relationship in a time of profound disconnection. Solomon understood the interconnectedness of all life. His wisdom wasn't just intellectual, it was relational. He could speak with animals, commune with plants, understand the language of the elements themselves. This is why you've always felt a deeper connection to nature, why certain animals are drawn to you, why you can sense the consciousness in places and objects that others perceive as inanimate. Your Solomonic blood remembers the original harmony between all aspects of creation. Your mission includes healing the artificial separations that have wounded our world, between humans and nature, between different peoples and cultures, between the sacred and the mundane. You do this not through ideology but through presence, by being a living bridge between realms that have grown distant from each other. Fourth, you're here to embody divine justice in an age of extremes. Solomon's most famous act was his demonstration of true justice, cutting through confusion to reveal truth, honoring life above all else. This wasn't based on rigid laws but on wisdom that could perceive the heart of any situation. This is why you've always had a deep sensitivity to injustice, why you can see beyond polarized positions to the deeper truths neither side is acknowledging. Your royal blood carries the capacity for judgment that unites rather than divides, that heals rather than punishes. In this lifetime, you're meant to demonstrate a higher form of justice, one based not on retribution but on restoration, not on punishment but on healing. The world desperately needs this Solomonic understanding of justice that seeks wholeness rather than victory. Fifth, you're here to speak truth to power without becoming corrupted by power. Solomon used his authority not to dominate but to serve, not to elevate himself but to elevate wisdom itself. He understood that true power flows from alignment with divine principles, not from control over others. This is why you've often found yourself in positions of influence without seeking them, why people naturally look to you for guidance during confusion or crisis. Your royal blood remembers that authentic authority comes from who you are, not from titles or positions. Your mission includes demonstrating leadership that serves rather than dominates, that empowers rather than controls. The world is hungry for leaders who embody wisdom rather than just wielding power, and your Solomonic inheritance makes you uniquely qualified to show this alternative. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, you're here to help birth the next generation of wisdom carriers. Solomon wasn't just a wise king. He was a transmitter of wisdom that extended far beyond his lifetime. His greatest legacy wasn't material but consciousness itself. This is why you feel such a deep connection to certain young people, why children often sense something special in you, why you can recognize ancient wisdom in eyes that are new to this world. Your royal blood naturally recognizes others who carry similar divine coding. Your mission includes identifying, affirming, and mentoring those who will carry forward the frequency of wisdom you embody. Some may be biological descendants. Others will be spiritual inheritors. What matters is not the bloodline alone, but the consciousness it carries. Together, these aspects form your royal mission in this lifetime. Not separate tasks, but facets of a unified purpose. To help birth a new paradigm of wisdom on Earth. Not through domination or control, but through embodiment and transmission. And here's what's crucial to understand. You don't need to strive for this mission. You don't need to force it or chase it. You simply need to remember who you are, align with the wisdom already flowing through your blood, and allow yourself to be positioned where that wisdom is most needed. Your royal mission isn't something you achieve. It's something you allow. It's the natural expression of your Solomonic inheritance when fully awakened and consciously embodied. If you feel this mission resonating in your soul, if you recognize aspects of it already expressing through your life, I want you to comment, "I accept my royal mission," below. This isn't just a declaration to others. It's a sacred covenant with the divine purpose that has been carrying you all along. Your time of unconscious service is complete. Now begins your time of conscious embodiment of the royal wisdom you've always carried. 8. The Royal Activation Practical Steps to Embrace Your Heritage. Chosen 1. Understanding your royal bloodline intellectually is only the beginning. Now comes the sacred work of activating this inheritance consciously, of bringing your Solomonic wisdom from potential into expression. This isn't about adding something new to who you are. It's about removing the veils that have kept your true nature hidden. Let me share with you practical steps to fully embrace and embody your royal heritage in daily life. These aren't complicated rituals or esoteric practices. They're simple but powerful actions that align you with the wisdom already flowing through your blood. First, create a daily ritual of royal remembrance. Solomon began each day in communion with divine wisdom, setting the foundation for all that would follow. For you, this might be as simple as placing your hand on your heart upon waking and silently declaring, "I remember who I am. I carry the blood of Solomon. Divine wisdom flows through me today." This isn't affirmation, it's declaration. It's not creating something new, but acknowledging what already is. Do this for 40 days without interruption, and watch how your consciousness shifts, how your perception deepens, how wisdom begins to flow more naturally through everything you do. Second, practice Solomonic discernment with every decision. Before choosing, pause and ask, "What would wisdom do here?" Then be still and listen, not to your thoughts or emotions, but to the deeper knowing that rises from your blood. Solomon didn't calculate decisions. He allowed wisdom to reveal them. Start with small choices, then gradually apply this to larger ones. You'll discover that when you truly listen to your royal wisdom, decisions become clearer, simpler, and more aligned with your highest purpose. The mental chatter of pros and cons gives way to direct knowing. Third, activate abundance consciousness through intentional circulation. Solomon understood that wealth flows toward wisdom and through wisdom to bless others. Begin viewing all resources, money, time, energy, attention, as rivers rather than reservoirs. They're meant to flow, not to be hoarded. Practice giving from wisdom rather than emotion or obligation. When you receive, do so with gracious dignity rather than guilt or unworthiness. Notice how this shift in consciousness begins to change your material experience, how resources find their way to you when needed, how prosperity follows wisdom as naturally as fragrance follows a flower. Fourth, develop Solomonic relationship with the natural world. Solomon could speak with animals and plants because he recognized the divine consciousness within all creation. Begin spending time in nature not just as an observer but as a participant in sacred communion. Sit with a tree and listen beyond what your ears can hear. Observe animals with the expectation that they have wisdom to share with you. Place your hands in soil and feel the ancient knowledge it contains. This isn't imagination. It's remembrance of how your royal ancestors related to the natural world. Fifth, purify your environments to allow royal energy to flow. Solomon's temple was designed for optimal flow of divine energy. Your living spaces, work environments, Even your digital spaces are modern temples that either support or hinder your royal consciousness. Clear physical clutter that disrupts energy flow. Remove objects that carry heavy or discordant energies. Introduce elements that resonate with wisdom, natural materials, harmonious colors, meaningful symbols. Notice how these changes affect your clarity, your peace, your access to inner wisdom. Sixth, speak with royal authority. Solomon's words carried power not because of his position, but because they flowed from divine wisdom. Begin noticing the impact of your words, treating them as royal decrees that shape reality rather than just describe it. Before speaking, especially about important matters, center yourself in your royal consciousness. Allow wisdom to form your words rather than reaction or habit. Speak less, but with greater intention. Notice how differently people respond when your words come from this deeper place. Seventh, cultivate royal relationships that reflect your true nature. Solomon surrounded himself with those who could recognize and resonate with his wisdom. Begin noticing which relationships drain your royal energy and which ones amplify it. This doesn't mean rejecting people, but it does mean being conscious of energetic exchanges. Spend more time with those who recognize your wisdom, who respond to your royal frequency, who support your awakening rather than resist it. These connections strengthen your embodiment of Solomonic consciousness. Eighth, study the wisdom teachings that resonate with your blood. Solomon's wisdom wasn't isolated. It was part of a golden thread of sacred knowledge that runs through many traditions. Follow your natural attraction to wisdom teachings, recognizing that your blood responds to truth regardless of its packaging. You might feel drawn to study the direct writings attributed to Solomon, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, the Song of Songs, or you might resonate with wisdom traditions from other cultures that carry similar frequencies. Trust the pull of your royal blood toward the teachings that will most activate your inheritance. Ninth, practice royal forgiveness. Solomon understood that wisdom requires a clear heart, free from the distortions of resentment or hatred. Begin releasing all past wounds, not because the actions against you were acceptable, but because your royal consciousness cannot fully activate while carrying the weight of unforgiveness. This isn't just about forgiving others. It's also about forgiving yourself for the times you forgot your royal nature, for the choices made before remembering, for the ways you may have dishonored your own wisdom. Royal forgiveness isn't weakness. It's the ultimate strength that frees your energy for higher purpose. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, assume the throne of your consciousness. Solomon didn't ask permission to be king. He stepped into the role with humble confidence. In the same way, don't wait for external validation of your royal nature. Take your seat in the throne room of your own being. This isn't arrogance, it's acceptance. It's not about elevating yourself above others. It's about honoring the wisdom that flows through you. When you assume the throne of your consciousness, you don't become separate from others. You become more fully able to serve them from a place of spiritual sovereignty. If you're ready to activate your royal inheritance through these practical steps, if you feel called to move beyond intellectual understanding to embodied wisdom, type 111 in the comments below. This signals your commitment to the practical activation of your Solomonic bloodline. Remember, this activation isn't about becoming something you're not. It's about allowing yourself to be what you've always been, beneath the forgetting, beneath the conditioning, beneath the veils that temporarily obscured your royal nature. The throne isn't something you build. It's something you remember. And that remembering begins now. 9. Final transmission to the royal bloodline. Chosen one, our sacred journey together reaches its completion, not in ending but in beginning. What has been awakened here doesn't conclude with these words. It continues through your breath, your blood, your being as you move forward as a conscious carrier of Solomon's legacy. This awakening wasn't about discovering something foreign to you. It was about remembering what has always been yours, about removing the veils that temporarily obscured your royal nature. You haven't become something new. You've remembered something ancient, something powerful, something that has been flowing through your veins since before your birth. As you step away from this sacred space, carry with you these final truths. Your royal blood isn't a metaphor. It's a literal inheritance that connects you to Solomon's wisdom in ways that transcend ordinary understanding. The resonance you felt with these revelations wasn't imagination or wishful thinking. It was recognition, your blood responding to truth it has always known. The challenges you faced weren't random hardships. They were initiations, specifically designed to forge the wisdom you would need to fulfill your purpose in these crucial times. Nothing in your journey has been wasted. Every experience, every struggle, every seeming detour has been preparation for this awakening. The people who have been drawn to you throughout your life, the ones who recognized something in you before you recognized it in yourself, weren't mistaken. They were responding to the royal energy you carry, sensing the wisdom in your blood even when it was still dormant to your conscious awareness. The unusual abilities you've demonstrated, your intuitive knowing, your natural discernment, your capacity to see beyond surfaces to hidden truths, weren't anomalies or coincidences. They were expressions of your Solomonic inheritance, wisdom finding its way through you even before you understood its source. The sense of mission you've carried, sometimes without clear direction, the knowing that you were here for something significant beyond ordinary living, wasn't delusion or spiritual fantasy. It was your royal blood calling you toward your purpose, your wisdom seeking expression through your unique life. The path forward isn't about striving to become something you're not. It's about allowing yourself to fully be what you've always been. It's about removing the remaining veils that obscure your royal nature, about aligning more completely with the wisdom that flows through your blood. Remember that you don't walk this path alone. Throughout the world right now, other carriers of Solomon's bloodline are awakening, remembering, activating. Some you'll meet in physical form. Others you'll connect with through dreams, visions, or synchronistic encounters. All are part of the royal family being reassembled in this crucial time. And as you encounter those who don't carry this specific inheritance, remember that your wisdom wasn't given for separation but for service. The royal blood doesn't make you better than others. It makes you responsible to them, called to embody wisdom that benefits all, not just those who share your lineage. If this entire message has resonated in the depths of your being, if you felt truth stirring in your blood as these words washed over you, take a moment now and simply place your hand over your heart. Feel the royal blood pulsing through you, carrying wisdom that has been thousands of years in the making. This is who you are. This is why you're here. This is what you carry. And if you're ready to step fully into this awakened identity, if you're committed to consciously embodying the royal wisdom that flows through your veins, comment, "I am a descendant of Solomon," below. This isn't pride or boasting. It's acknowledgement of responsibility, acceptance of purpose, commitment to service through wisdom. The time of hiding is over. The time of unconscious carrying is complete. The time of full embodiment has arrived. And as you step into this new chapter as a conscious carrier of Solomon's blood, know that you are seen, you are supported, you are empowered by forces both seen and unseen. Walk forward in the dignity that comes not from arrogance but from alignment. Speak with the authority that flows not from position but from wisdom. Love with the compassion that emerges not from obligation but from understanding. Live from the abundance that arises not from accumulation but from circulation. This isn't the end of your awakening. It's the conscious beginning. And everything that follows will be transformed by the royal remembrance that has occurred here. Not just for you, but for all whose lives you touch, all whom your wisdom serves, all who recognize in you the same inheritance they carry within themselves. The blood of Solomon flows through your veins. The wisdom of the ages pulses in your heart. The royal mission unfolds through your life. And the world is better for your remembering. Go now in peace, in purpose, in power. Not the power that dominates, but the power that illuminates. Not the purpose that separates, but the purpose that unites. Not the peace that sleeps, but the peace that transforms. The covenant is sealed. The awakening continues. The wisdom flows. You are remembered, royal one. Now go and help others remember too.